tighter restrictions after another surge hit country. High compliance rate allows non-essential business continue operating. Welcome to News at 10. I'm Brendan Lepore. Malaysia records another surge of infections as another 4,498 new COVID-19 cases reported in the last 24 hours. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah in a statement said this brings Malaysia's total number of infections to 432,425. He said Selangor continues recording the highest number of new cases by state, with 1,424, followed by 750 in Sarawak and 436 in Kuala Lumpur. The Health DG also reported another 22 fatalities today, raising the country's death toll to 1,632. The number of active cases in the country rose to 34,789 after 3,449 patients recovered and discharged from hospital nationwide. Currently, 372 people are being treated at intensive care units, with 211 of them requiring ventilator support. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said 19 new clusters were identified today, all involving workplaces, communities, religious activity, educational institutes. He also reported that 12 clusters have been declared as inactive today, leaving 425 active clusters remaining active in the country. Now, the police have set up 9 roadblocks in Kuala Lumpur and 4 in Putrajaya tomorrow following the enforcement of the Movement Control Order MCO 3.0 in the Federal Territories. The roadblocks are meant to stop interstate travel, covering the borders of Selangor and Putrajaya. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato' Azmi Abu Kasim said PDRM will intensify checks to ensure motorists to abide by the SOP set by the National Security Council MKN.
Sekarang ini kita mensasarkan sekurang-kurangnya 9 sekatan jalan raya untuk Kuala Lumpur saja, tak termasuk Putrajaya. Putrajaya sedia ada 4. So untuk Kuala Lumpur, the whole of KL, kita mensasarkan sekurang-kurangnya 9. Dan kita akan mula melaksanakan sekatan jalan raya ini insya-Allah esok lah.
Elaborating further, Dato' Azmi said PDRM will work closely with several government enforcement agencies as they expect more cars to be on the road between 7th to 20th of March in anticipation of the coming Aidilfitri celebration. The Perak Police contingent receives about 3,000 applications daily for interstate travel. State Police Chief Dato' Mio Fadil Atrash Wahid said between 70 and 100 applications were also rejected daily as the reasons provided were not valid.
Pasal kita kena check betul. Kadang-kadang dia menggunakan alasan sebab kebajikan, tapi bila kita check bukan sebab kebajikan pun. Kan? Seperti yang mana yang orang tahu, kalau sebab kematian yang rapat saja kita benarkan. Kalau kata sahabat dia meninggal, kita takkan benar balik kan. So macam-macam alasan masyarakat akan gunakan untuk mengambil peluang untuk menetas negeri. Macam-macam alasan dia bagi, especially di hujung minggu.
Speaking to reporters today, he said on average police reject between 700 and 1,000 interstate applications. He reminded the public to abide by the standard operating procedures SOP set by the authorities, including the travel ban due to the high number of reported COVID-19 cases. Now, following the decision of allowing university students to return to their hometowns for Aidilfitri celebration, over 2,000 students from University Technology Malaysia (UTM) began their journey through the Jom Balik Kampung program. The program, which is expected to end on 12 May, involves 1,983 students from the Johor Bahru campus and 90 from Kuala Lumpur campus. UTM Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Student Affairs, Professor Dr. Shamsul Sahibuddin said the program was launched in line with the decision made by the government.
So itulah secara keseluruhannya dan sekali lagi kami pihak UTM mengucapkan terima kasihlah pada pihak KPT atas kebenaran dan juga pihak MKN yang telah menyediakan SOP untuk memulihkan para pelajar ini berhari raya di kampung sama keluarga mereka. Terima kasih.
Aside from taking the bus provided by the university, students are also allowed to use their own private vehicle or have their parents and guardians to pick them up at their respective campuses. Meanwhile, in Kedah, 1,049 of University Utara Malaysia (UUM) students began their journey to their homes in stages starting today until 11th May and are expected to return to campus on 19 May. 5 buses heading for Kelantan, Terengganu and Johor were provided on the first day, while another 3 buses bound for Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Pahang set to depart tomorrow. On 9th May, 3 buses will be provided for students heading to Selangor and Perak, followed by Pulau Pinang on 10th May. Over 1,300 students had decided to remain in campus during the Aidilfitri celebration. In Kelantan, the Phase 1 for movement of 160 students from University Malaysia Kelantan UMK heading to the Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur, Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Johor, Perak, Pahang and Terengganu went off without a hitch. The Phase 2, which is expected to take off tomorrow, will see 163 students and 5 other buses bound for the northern zone. Dubbed as Project Raya, the program will also see 1,282 students using other mode of transportation such as air transport and personal vehicles. They are expected to return to campus on 15 and 16 May and will be put under quarantine for 10 days. The compliance rate among the retail, wholesale and distribution sectors stands at 98% since the Movement Control Order (MCO) last year. The high compliance rate had enabled 38 types of businesses, including non-essential businesses, to be allowed to continue operation.
Kita tak nak mereka yang bekerja mengharapkan gaji dan upah masa mereka kerja ni. Kalau premisi tak dibenarkan buka, kemungkinan bisnes ni terjejas, tutup, orang kehilangan kerja. Jadi mungkin mas tu bukan essential, tapi pekerjaan tu essential kepada mereka yang memerlukan. Ya, untuk mereka ni mendapat gaji, upah untuk sara hidup, kos hidup mereka.
Met by the media after launching the Jualan Prihatin Raya program in Putrajaya today, Datuk Sri Alexander added that stern actions will be taken against premises which fail to obey the SOP, including suspending their operations permits. Meanwhile, the Pulau Pinang KBDN HEP today gave its assurance that the supply of controlled goods such as chicken and meat in the state is sufficient for the festive season. Its director, Muhammad Rizwan Abdul Ghaffar, said the supply was also sufficient if the Movement Control Order (MCO) was to be implemented in the state again. Muhammad Rizwan said a total of 1,448 inspections have been carried out at various premises through an operation dubbed Ops Pantau, which has been implemented in the state over the last 2 weeks.
Dari segi bekalan untuk negeri Pulau Pinang ini memang tiada masalah. Pihak KPDNCP Pulau Pinang ingin memberi jaminan kepada semua pengguna bahawa bekalan adalah mencukupi. Memang kita sentiasa membuat pemantauan even sebelum PKP lagi. Maksud daripada awal PKP tahun lepas lagi memang kita membuat pemantauan tu mendapatkan maklumat-maklumat daripada pihak pembekal.
He said this to reporters after conducting an inspection and monitoring of the festive season maximum price control scheme (SHMMP) for Aidilfitri 2021 at Pasar Awam Bayan Baru today. 15 cases have been recorded under the Price Control and Anti-Profiteering Act 2011 for offences such as failure to display price tags and selling controlled items above the prescribed price. Mohammed Rizwan said the Pulau Pinang KBDN HEP also issued 14 notices under Section 21 of the same Act against chicken traders through Ops Rantayan Ayam to obtain information on the price hike. He said the implementation of the SHMMP for Aidilfitri 2021 in the state involved 29 items such as chicken, egg, meat, vegetables and sea produce. He said so far no complaints from consumers have been made on the increase in prices of control items during the implementation of the scheme from 21st April. BSN commences BPR payment today. That's coming up next. Stay with us. Bank Simpanan Nasional (BSN) will implement the Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat (BPR) 2021 Phase 2 payments in stages, starting today until 12 May for account crediting and 17 May for cash payment at BSN branches. BSN Chief Executive J. Khairul Jeremy Abdullah said recipients of BPR 2021 Phase 2 payments in cash were advised to plan their visits to the BSN branch in advance and always adhere to the SOPs set. In a statement, he said the payment of BPR 2021 Phase 2 through account crediting will be done based on the recipient's information submitted by the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, LHDN, to BSN. Meanwhile, for cash payment, the recipient must bring along identity card when visiting any BSN branch, as only registered representatives are allowed to represent the recipients for BPR 2021. BPR recipients are advised to check in advance through the LHDNM website or contact the LHDNM BPR hotline before visiting any BSN branch. Wholesale and retail trade rose 9.3% to 112.8 billion ringgit in March 2021, the first positive year-on-year growth this year. In a statement today, Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said this increase was contributed by motor vehicles, which surged 40.7% or 4.3 billion ringgit to 15 billion ringgit, and similarly retail trade, which expanded 10.5% or 4.3 billion ringgit to 45 billion ringgit. Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said wholesale trade also showed an uptick trend, registering an increase of 1 billion ringgit or 1.8% to 52.7 billion ringgit. Likewise, the month-on-month sales value grew 4.4% in March 2021, underpinned by motor vehicles, which soared 34.6%. He added that compared to March 2019, sales of wholesale and retail trade also showed a positive growth of 3.0%. The growth was driven by the extra consumers' disposable income due to withdrawal of Air Lestari, and the increase in commodity prices such as oil palm and rubber. Vehicle sales tax exemption incentives also continue to play a role in stimulating the purchase of motor vehicles. Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said the online retail sales index, which portrays e-commerce activity, continued to record 18.3% growth. Meanwhile, the chief statistician reported that Malaysia's labour market continued to recover and improve further in March 2021 after it came in at 4.7%, with 753,200 unemployed persons from 777,500 in February. Dr. Sri Dr. Muhammad Uzir said unlike the first Movement Control Order MCO in March last year, March this year saw most states were in recovery MCO, while several others were in conditional MCO, which prompted an improvement in labour situation. He added that during the month, the number of unemployed persons continued to increase by 0.4% to 15.33 million persons from 15.27 million persons in February. Since April 2020, the number of employed persons was on a year-on-year declining trend. But for the first time after 11 consecutive months, the number of employed persons registered a positive year-on-year growth of 0.6% or 96,900 persons. The recovery of labour market is expected to continue due to the reopening of trading activity as well as suspension of COVID-19 vaccination program to cover a bigger community in the country. Two suspected drug smugglers were found with over 2 million ringgit worth of drugs after police raided a house in Cheras. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato' Rasmi Abu Qasim said the raid was conducted on Wednesday. He said the two men, aged 44 and 57, were caught, and upon inspection of the house, police located around 43.925 grams of suspected methamphetamine and 8.4 kg of suspected ketamine. Two cars modified to smuggle drugs were also seized, and police believe the duo were buying the drugs to be distributed within the area.
Mereka ini berdasarkan kepada maklumat awal yang kita dapat, mereka mendapat bekalan itu ataupun mengambil bekalan ini daripada sebuah negeri di selatan tanah air lah. Ya, dan mereka membawa dadah ini dalam jumlah yang sangat besar lah, sehingga boleh mencapai 80 kilo lah dalam satu pengambilan. Ya, 80 kilo menggunakan kenderaan yang diubah suai kompartmen dia untuk menempatkan dadah yang mereka ambil ni lah. Dan kita percaya dadah ini adalah untuk pasaran Kuala Lumpur lah, Kuala Lumpur dan Selangor.
Briefing reporters today, he said sources indicated the suspects paid 6,000 ringgit each to modify the cars to hide the drugs during transportation. The total value of the drugs seized has been estimated to be more than 2.026 million ringgit. Investigation showed that the two men had been active for around 3 months. Now, 3 probationary police constables have been remanded for 7 days to assist in the investigation into the death of their colleague yesterday. The trio, aged 21, 23 and 27, were produced at the Cebu Magistrates Court today and ordered to be remanded under Section 302 of the Penal Code. Cebu District Police Chief ACP Stanley Jonathan Ringgit said Nur Halim Tumiran, 25, was found with gunshot wounds on his right ear at a house in Lorong Sembilan, Terima yesterday. Initial investigation found the deceased was accidentally shot by a colleague while playing computer games in the sitting room of the house. A police team rushed to the house after receiving a report on the incident at around 7 p.m. ACP Stanley said the rented house was occupied by 5 friends of the deceased. 2 of them were out on duty during the incident. The deceased, who was a close friend of the 5, was not staying there, but at the Cebu Police Headquarters. The deceased, who is from Lanchang, Pahang, leaves behind a wife and a 1-year-old toddler. Wrapping up news at 10 in our top story, tighter restrictions after another surge hit country. Join us for more update at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. Till then, I'm Brendan Lepal. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a good night.